Hey, who else is part of the Nine Tray? This is Bar Weekly. It's been a pretty light week, unless you're Tekashi 6ix9ine, but we'll get into that in just a second. Alright, first we want to talk about Amir Van. In case you did not know who he is an ex-member of the best boy band since One Direction, Brockhampton. We don't want to get too into why he was removed. You can Google it, do it yourself. But anyways, he dropped an EP this week titled Emmanuel, and it's his first project since being removed from the group. The general consensus is that it's pretty solid, and the only thing that's really lacking is the production, but that's most likely just because everyone's kind of spoiled by the production on Brockhampton stuff when he was with the group. I personally have not listened to it yet because I cannot bring myself to listen to it, but I'm actually surprised that a lot of Brockhampton fans are willing to give it a shot, based on all the stuff that happened. Alright, up next we got Dave. The rapper Dave from the UK this week won the Mercury Prize. So the Mercury Prize is a pretty big deal in the UK. It's basically a prize awarded to one of the 12 best albums of the year. Best UK albums specifically. So considering Dave is one of the newer or lesser known names in UK hip hop, it's a pretty big deal. Alright, next. Good Kid, Mad City is probably one of Kendrick's best albums, or it is his best album. It's his best album. And this week it celebrated being the longest charting hip hop album, and that's amazing. The album's been out for nearly 6 years right about now. And seeing as it's still on the charts, that's really impressive, and that really says a lot about Kendrick's staying power. I don't know if you watched our previous video where we discussed our top 5 favorite rappers. If you haven't, go do that right now. But in that, we mentioned on Twitter, people are saying Kendrick is irrelevant. Clearly he is not. Seeing as this album is a 10 by 10, seeing as this album is a 10 out of 10 by pretty much everyone on the podcast, it's not surprising that it's up there, but still pretty impressive. While we're talking about celebrating things, Kid Cudi's Man on the Moon celebrated his 10-year anniversary this week. Looking back, it's definitely done a lot to influence a lot of the more popular music or stuff that we really like. It's really noticeable in Travis Scott's Rodeo, not necessarily in the themes or the overall sound, but there's definitely parts of the sounds, but also definitely the structure of the album, where it's kind of split into parts. There's a bit of a narrative going through the whole thing. It's also, even though it came out after 808s and Heartbreaks, even though it came out after 808s and Heartbreak, it still feels like there's a lot of that sound on Kanye's album, and that definitely has to do a lot with Cudi helping Kanye on it, but that's besides the point. Cudi's influence spreads a lot wider than most people really acknowledge. So it's great to see that he's working on new stuff and kind of tapping into that old Kid Cudi sound that everyone knows and loves. We're very excited for your next projects. Alright, moving on. This week, DJ Premier posted a video to Twitter, which is pretty much just a answering machine recording of Nas basically saying, "Hey, I heard there's a new Gang Starr album. That's what's up." And he just kind of left it at that. So I guess there's a new Gang Starr album coming out, which is pretty dope. And we actually got the first single from it just yesterday. The single was titled "Family and Loyalty," featuring J. Cole. And it's a really solid track. Not too sure how I feel about J. Cole being on this track. But to be fair, I don't know how many verses from Guru Primo has locked in the vault. So he might just be needing features to kind of fill in the gaps. Also, we kind of talked about it outside of the videos. They might just be doing this for each song on the album, where every track's got a feature. Don't really know how I feel about that, but I mean, we'll see when it happens. But with that feature, J. Cole announced that this was his last feature that he's ever doing. Basically, he said, "This is an honor to be on this song, New Gang Starr. This is the last feature you'll hear from me. Thank you to everybody I got to work with during this run." That's wild. Because, I mean, I'm sure you know, in like the last year and a half, almost 2 years, J. Cole has killed every feature he's done. It's just insane to think that he's like, "Nah, I'm done. I'm done with features now." Especially after we said on multiple occasions that we like feature J. Cole better than album J. Cole. But I mean, we'll see. I'm sure he's got something. Like he has to do some features. Like we can't have him go multi-platinum without features again. Or help people go multi-platinum without features. Anyways, now we're going to talk about 6ix9ine. So 6ix9ine went on trial this week, and he immediately snitched on everybody. I'm sure you've seen the memes. They're amazing. Basically, he broke down a lot of stuff, but what a lot of people are talking about is that he pretty much called everyone out to be part of the 9 Tray, which everyone kind of plays off as like a really small subsection of Bloods, but there's a lot of big names in it. Most notably Trippie Redd, Jim Jones, and Cardi B. And the only one that actually denied anything was Cardi B. So he might just be talking out his ass. It's really funny because like going through some of the transcripts that I read, the judge had to constantly remind 6ix9ine to only answer the questions that are asked. Like he cannot keep his fucking mouth shut. He's like, "Hey, but like there's all these sorts of things happening." I think one of the funniest things I've seen was one of the memes that said, "Hey, you're facing 20 years. Do you have anything else to say?" He's like, "Hey, you know who MF Doom is?" Shout out Man Veer. Anyways, the trial's still ongoing. I'm sure they will come to some sort of resolution regarding what's going to happen to him. But I mean, we'll see when that happens. But in the meantime, send all the memes. And finally, we have album releases. This week was honestly pretty light in terms of what I like to listen to. So we have Skyzoo and Pete Rock with Retropolitan. Then we have Khan with Requiem for a Dream. Kemba dropped the album Gilda. Lil Tracy dropped Anarchy. And Amir Vaughn dropped Emmanuel, as we mentioned before. That's all we got for news. We're going to throw in some random clips of this recent show we went to. Actually, not even recent. It was literally, at the time of recording, about 12 hours or 24 hours ago. So we got into the show that had Locksmith, sa-roc, Ghostface, and Raekwon performing out at the Midway in SF. Shit was dope. Throw in some random clips here, but if you were out there, send us some clips. Say what's up.
A 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3, 7. Man is a nigga from the west, but I represent the east. I'm a motherfucking beast. Blood dripping from my teeth. Heavy breathing in the street. See, I spit liquid smoke, so the samurai me, I'm the.
Woman is still as a running on the bank. You a hero with these expressions and check them on the grill line. Like we sleep, this is on the kids with chambers empty. Statements is irrelevant. I might have to run it at the party, all the square ahead. They been trying to
Same period. How long for these niggas? Shooting and shit. All fans trusty. Simple with my man Rusty, low down. Off the road, kinda dusty. The world can't touch. Go far, we'll take right call.
Anyways, please like and subscribe and comment below with what you want to see in the future. I'm going to keep saying this until one of y'all do something. Anyways, bye.